Hey, it's Matthew Arthur, side businesspreneur, and this is how I get what I want from other people and they love me for it. And more importantly, how you can too. Let's get into it. So we have a diagram here. Hopefully I've got the camera settings this right this time and it's zoomed in enough. But I'll explain it. We have here on this quadrant reward, happy face. We have here on this quadrant punishment, not happy face, also known as a sad face, apparently. We have on this axis, the y-axis, I think it's the y-axis, result, and then on this axis, which I think is the x-axis, so I've messed them up, intensity. So think of this as the intensity of the reward or the punishment on this axis, and the result, the desired result, the result that we want over here. Now, what we want to have the quadrant in is this one here. I'm just going to make it simple in this quadrant here. Now, why do we want that? We want that because we get the result. We increase the likelihood of the result we want. We increase the chance of getting that, but the intensity of what we have to provide to get that is low. So, low intensity of reward. So think of it as like a low. Yeah, I'm going to say I'll give an example in a second, but high result, high likelihood of getting what we want. Now, that's what we want here. You can do that with rewards in general. With punishments, though, especially over a long period of time, if you keep doing more and more, and I'll illustrate this in a second, even though we want it to be here, where we put in low punishment, low energy from us, and high likelihood of result, realistically, what's going to happen, especially if you do this more and more often, is, and this is, by the way, I've learned this from other people, and I think I've tried things myself, and I think I've noticed it as correct. Or shows I've noticed things myself and tried different things myself. What really happens is actually, if you want to get the result, you have to increase your intensity of the punishment, so you end up over here, and you have to keep increasing the intensity to get your desired result. Otherwise, actually, the punishments that you did initially are going to decrease the likelihood of the result. You have to keep increasing the punishment. But with the reward, you don't need to increase the intensity to keep getting what you want. Now you're probably thinking, this is lots of things, this is complex. How can we look at this? So an example of this would be, imagine, and you might not need to imagine, that you worked in a workplace and then the boss or another colleague, they want to get a desired result from you. So let's say, as an example, heck, maybe you're in a call center and you're taking phone calls, and your manager wants you to say a certain part, or let's say that, follow a certain part of the process that maybe you missed. They want you to follow the processes, right? Now, if that manager always tries to get you to follow those processes by saying things like, hey, you missed the process again. Hey, you missed the process. Hey, now the first time you might hear, oh, hey, you missed the process, you might go, oh, I've got to get my process. I've got to get that. Now, but then say it gets a bit hard to follow that process and it's not really affecting you too much. And by the way, you should be doing your job anyway, by the way. But I'm just saying, imagine this is another person. Imagine you're in this person's shoes, to illustrate. Now, what's going to happen, right, is if I'm the manager and I wanted to follow the process, I'm using what's called a punishment. I'm saying, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Hey, we can do this again. That's not a nice experience. It's a punishment. I'm not saying there's no place for punishments, by the way. I'm just going to show you the psychology. You want to be able to use both. You want to be able to use punishments where needed. It sounds like a harsh word. In this case, it's really not. It just means something that's not pleasant in a way, and reward something that is pleasant. So if I say to that team member, hey, closely follow up, what's going to happen when I say, hey, you haven't followed the process? I'm going to have to increase if I'm only using punishments, I'm going to have to increase the severity of that punishment to get the result that I want, because eventually the team member's going to get numb to, he's just following that process again, just following it. So now I'm going to have to say, hey, you didn't follow this punishment, so it's going to decrease your bonus. And the team member like, oh, I may go down to it. But then again, if they don't do it, I'm going to have to keep increasing the punishment. Oh, and no one's happy. They don't like that. I don't like it. It's taking more resource. However, what about this? Let's look at the reward here. So what if I say, hey, team member, can you please follow that process? You got to follow that process. Otherwise, it means it's like, you got to follow that, man. And they go, oh, yeah, sure. Now, I'm now going to be looking for them to follow that process, or even just do one good thing about that process. And I am going to hammer them, at least in the beginning, with a reward. And when I say hammer, it doesn't have to be intense. So it could be something like this. I'm watching, I see them follow the process. Maybe I see them follow just a part of the process and I want them to do more of that. I'm going to say to them, hey, team member, I saw you follow the part of the process. That's brilliant. Keep up the good work. Now the team member, this isn't magic to be clear. I've had some team members, you might say, I have some team members that still won't follow it. Look, yes, you're not going to always get a 100% strike rate with this because people are people, but in general. So let's say the person goes, oh, that was really cool. Thanks. I'm going to do more of that. Then when they follow the process again, maybe they do it a bit better this time. Maybe just do another good thing right. I'm just going to say, hey, I saw you followed that part of the process. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now, realistically, they're probably, if they're a normal human being, they're going to go, oh, cool, I'm going to keep following the process because I get that reward. Now, obviously, some people are different, so maybe it needs to be financial. Hey, that's actually going to result in a financial bonus. That's cool. A lot of the time, compliments, by the way, just work. People love them. And who doesn't like to be noticed for doing a good job? So what, in this case, right, if I was only to use punishment and say, hey, you didn't follow the process. Hey, this might affect your bonus. Hey, yada, yada. I have to keep increasing the intensity because they're going to get numb to it. But the cool thing is, if this works where I say, hey, that was really good, keep that up. I really like that. Specific, just not just a hey, good work, hey, good work. It's like, what does he mean, good work? Does he just say good work because he just feels it's motivating? It's kind of cheesy. But if it's like, hey, I saw you did that, you followed that part of the process, that was good. That was good work. It's like, oh, he meant it. He's specific. So I can just keep doing that and I'm probably going to get the same behavior. In general, of course, psychology. Yeah, anyway. Psychology and people are different human beings, but that's the general rule of thumb here. Now, another way to illustrate this is think of this. What about kids? The good old finish your dinner or you don't get dessert. Or, you can rephrase that in a way if you want. Finish your dinner and you get dessert. Small tweak there, but think about this. This is the concept, actually. That was a little bit of a wording tweak, but that's besides the point. The point is this. When a kid knows that they're going to get dessert, and by the way, they don't always finish dinner because maybe they don't like it or whatever reason, but you don't need to keep increasing the reward for them to want to finish, to have dessert. That is, you don't need to increase the type of dessert, how flavoursome it is, how much there is. Just the fact they're going to get dessert. If you said, hey, you're going to get the same ice cream you got yesterday, the same ice cream you got 2 days ago, or a biscuit, right? The low reward, but they're going to be motivated to get the desired result. Is this making sense here? Is this making sense? So we're using both of these tools actually, but a lot of people revert to punishment a lot more than I'd say they need to, or they actually don't understand that this is another tool and actually is, I would argue, more powerful, especially in the long term, so it's more sustainable. Again, you need both. But if I can get what I want with doing the reward, I'm always going to go for that because I know it's going to be less allocation of resource, less energy, sustainable, and again, people are just going to like it. Like, it's good. People like it, right? But you still have to use both if needed. I'm not saying here, oh, just be, focus on just rewards and punishments. There's no place on there. Look, there is a place of punishment, and there is the place for saying, hey, team member, that needs to be fixed or whatever. Now, here's another illustration. I'm going to give you a little thing that we found, my wife and I found. So we want to reduce our expenditure, probably like most people do. And we realize that every time we try to be like, oh, let's save, let's not get that McDonald's meal because Macca's can be good. I don't care what anyone says. Macca's can be good. And for you people in America, Macca's is just the Australian way of saying McDonald's. Oh, Macca's, what is that? You're just going to have to deal with it. Okay, so I can say to myself, we can say to ourselves, we're saving. That whole mindset is punishment. We're doing without, we're going without every single time. It's like we're going without that little expense, that expense here. So what we decided to do is create what we called an easy earnings sheet. And with that easy earnings is that when we thought this is something I would probably buy, we're going to log that. Not as a saving, but as an easy earning. Also, for us, earning money, making money is much more exciting than saving money for us. So that psychological shift of, hey, when we actually, like when I don't get that Macca's burger, I'm not saving money. I'm not doing without. I'm making money. And also, if you do the math, it actually ends up the same, right? If you save $5, you're $5 more ahead than if you spent it. Just a psychological wording. And by the way, it's been working. And we still buy Maccas now and then. We still buy stuff. However, we've been logging stuff into that sheet, and there's been a difference. I'll give one final example. So I was working on a document in a morning recently, and it was quite intense. I had to work through a fair few things. I needed focus working from home. And the kids were making a bit of noise as they do. Not too bad usually, but I needed a lot of focus for this to get through this document. So I came out and I said to the kids, hey kids, Daddy's got a document. He's got some work to focus on. So if you'd be quiet for a bit, that'd be great. Thank you. Now, guess what? 2 hours or so passed. They actually were quiet. So what I did is I said to them, hey, that's amazing. I'm buying you a hash brown as a reward because I want more of that behavior. And it doesn't cost me much to make a hash brown, or to buy a hash brown, I should say. So, and I also thought, you know what? My wife actually helped facilitate them be quiet. So I got her a hash brown too. Yes, a $3, not even that, maybe, hash brown. And do you think she loved it? You bet she loved it.